Let's go ahead and move on to the final segment of the show. It's going to be our hot or cold segment where B. Scott and I will go through each NFL team rapid fire style, saying hot for a team we believe will make the playoffs or could make the playoffs. So basically the rule is if we think there's a chance this team will make the playoff, which obviously I know the season hasn't started, literally any team can make it, but just what we realistically think a team could make it. That we'll say hot, we'll say cold if we think they'll miss the postseason. The parameters I want to set up before we get into this is that I think this is how I'm going off of it. The AFC to me has a lot of good teams, so I think it will be harder to make the playoffs than it will be in the NFC. The NFC, you have the top couple of teams, but even like the Saints this year, I think are going to take a little bit of a step backwards. So like you have the top teams, and then from then on out, it's just kind of could be anybody. So it's a little bit more up in the air in the NFC.
And then do I have to pick an NFC East team?
I mean, you can.
Is one of them just going to get in by default, or can we just say, no, you weren't good enough. None of you were good enough. Sit down, shut up, and get better.
Right. So admittedly, I should have done this before we went live today, B. Scott, but I thought it would be a little bit quicker, a little bit more conducive, instead of just going back and forth saying, like, cold, 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 hot, hot. We could just be like, I'll go through, like, a stretch of teams, and then we'll kind of come to a stopping point and be like, are we all agreed on these? And then that way it's a little bit quicker than going back and forth 32 times. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and kick it off. I went backwards. I went 32 through team number 1. So we'll start at the bottom. So this should be pretty quick. Jaguars, cold. Jets, cold. Falcons, Texans, Bengals, Eagles, Panthers, all colds for me. I don't think any of those teams will be in the playoffs. The Broncos, they're cold for me, but no pun intended, they're a dark horse. The AFC is super stacked, though, and they're the team in the AFC West that I have the least confidence in, and then the Lions are cold as well. So do we have any disagreements there?
Nope. I have got them cold as well. The only one I may have as a dark horse is the Panthers, because Christian McCaffrey.
True. I did not think about Christian McCaffrey because you kind of forget about him sometimes. Right, he's an amazing player. Literally turns the game around.
And whether they go with PJ Walker or Sam Darnold at quarterback, I think it's a good situation.
Yeah. Now you did tick off Carter's in the chat by knocking the NFC East, but don't worry, Carter's, I got your back. Cowboys are hot for me. I think the Cowboys do have a chance, especially if they come back strong with Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper. They have so much talent. If everybody stays healthy, I think they're in good shape. And the Giants for me are hot. They added a lot of talent offensively in the offseason, headed up by Kenny Golladay. The East is wide open, in my opinion. That's going to be, it's funny, because you look at the East and the West. The West in the NFC is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Because of, the NFC West is going to be a lot of fun to watch because of how many good playoff caliber teams there are, and the East is going to be fun because maybe it may not be, all amazing games, but that, like, anybody can win that division, in my opinion. It's kind of like the NL East, if I'm equating it to baseball, where it's not the best all the time. That the Super Bowl champion is probably not going to come out of that division, but it's wide open. Anyone can take it.
Yeah, I have the same there. I do think the Cowboys are hot. The Giants are hot as well. As long as the biggest question mark for me with all that is the Cowboys defense, to be honest.
True. The 49ers are cold. See Denver, just like with Denver. They just, if the 49ers played in any other division, the NFC South, NFC East, NFC North, I would feel like they are. This would be a hot for me, but they're the worst team in the NFC West, which is not knocking them. It's just the NFC West is legit stacked. So that's why I'm saying cold for the 49ers. Chargers are hot. No sophomore slump for Justin Herbert. I think they're a team that can sneak in there. I don't know if they're going to have a home playoff game, meaning they're going to be like, the 5, 6, or 7 seed, but I think they have a chance to make some noise if they can get in the show. Justin Herbert really opened some eyes last year.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 49ers are cold, mostly because of this division that they play in. But if Trey Lance can keep playing the way he's looked like he's able to, and that defense can stay healthy, that could be a dark horse in the NFC as well.
All right, sticking.
Yeah.
Right. The Vikings for me are cold. A lot of teams in the NFC North are going to be cold for me. The Patriots, unfortunately for us, are back. They added so much. Not back. Okay, B-Scott, I see your look. Not back to Tom Brady Super Bowl caliber, but they're going to be a playoff team or have a shot to be a playoff team this year because they've got a lot of talent. They literally went and signed everybody. I'm not accepting your awkward look, B-Scott. It's a hot for me. Washington for me is hot. They are a team. Dude, how are you going to knock a team that was literally in the playoffs? And they had Fitzmagic, my guy. They got Ryan Fitzpatrick at the helm. I mean, can't tell me it's not a step up from Alex Smith. Can't tell me it's not a step up from grab me some Heinekens. I think it's going to be a great improvement for... I mean, like I said, the East is wide open. So... I think they could make it in there. Their defense is absolutely juiced, B. Scott. I'll pause because you've given me some looks.
All right. Vikings, yeah, cold. just like a Minnesota winter. The Patriots, I'm not ready. I need to see it from them. I'm not ready to say that Mac Jones is going to be the savior and Cam Newton's going to go back to old Cam Newton. I'm not ready to jump on that yet. Washington, I can see where you're coming from with Washington. I guess for me, the reason I'm thinking cold is just because they backed their way into the playoffs essentially last year.
True.
And I think that's kind of what stands out for me. But I don't see really three. I mean, I guess we're looking at teams that can be potential playoff teams. Like if we think they have a shot at the playoffs. Then yes, because of the division that they play in, I don't think two teams come out of the NFC East, but I do, because that division is so wide open that they can be hot.
Yeah, see, remember...
I think there's really only one cold team in that division, and that's the Eagles.
Right. So I was going to say, because that's the caveat here. It's not our playoff picks, per se. It's can you make the playoffs? That's the hot or cold. I want to thank Rage for gifting 5 subs in the chat. If you hear that on the YouTube side of things, that alert is my sub alert for when somebody subscribes to the channel. So I appreciate the love there. Always love everybody in the chat. Continuing on... So the Cardinals, they are hot. I think that's going to be a team that's going to make some noise this year, adding J.J. Watt. The Bears are cold, but...
No more Rookie of the Year.
Yes. The Bears are cold, but Fields will have them in the mix. You don't think the Bears are cold?
I don't know. I will see. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with it for now.
I agree with it until, because honestly, once Rodgers is out of the North is wide open. And I don't think there's two teams. There's not two teams for me that come out of the NFC North. So...
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going with. The Raiders...
With as bad as the rest of the division could be, with the Lions and the Vikings, I feel like the Bears could have a legitimate shot of backing into a wild card spot.
Which is essentially what they did last year with Trubisky. And I think they'll be better suited, this time around quarterback-wise.
Well, I'm going to go hot because of that. I'm going to go hot.
There you go. We got to have some differences. The Raiders are hot. They were right on the doorstep last year with Derek Carr, the Las Vegas Raiders. The Rams, they're hot. They made it last year, and they improved. They have Matthew Stafford. The Dolphins, for me, are hot as well. Tua, he's the guy now. No Fitzmagic to come bail you out. I think he makes some strides. We'll see what happens. The Baltimore Ravens, come on. Lamar Jackson, they are muy caliente. The Cleveland Browns, I think, could be potentially your AFC North champions. They are hot as well. a fun team to watch this coming season. And then the Colts, I have as hot right now. The return for Wentz is key, and it's like I said last week. It's not because I don't think they are a playoff caliber team, because they are. But I mean, heck, look how good the Colts played last season. They were literally 7th. Made the playoffs by the hair on their chinny chin chin. So I mean, it's something where, the AFC is so stacked that, if they get off to a rough start because Carson Wentz isn't there, that's when you start to worry. So that's the only caveat on the Colts. They're hot for now. We'll see how long Wentz is out.
Oh yeah, I agree with all those. But I'll go one step further with the Colts, and I think they get in the playoffs no matter who their quarterback is, just because of that running game.
True. So you have the Buccaneers. They're hot. The Titans, they are hot because they had Julio Jones in the mix. What? The Saints, they're hot in the streets, but I have them as hot in the spirit of the exercise, because kind of like what you did with Washington, where you're like, I don't think they'll make it. That's kind of how I am with the Saints. Like, they could make it, but like, I have zero faith in Jameis Winston. I mean,
so I'll agree with the hot there just because of Taysom Hill.
Yeah, true. I mean, how the Saints didn't come away with something better quarterback-wise to succeed Drew Brees, I mean, I don't think Jameis Winston is not the guy. Taysom Hill, I mean, yeah, he's good for those gadget plays, and that's what they need him for, and that's what's been successful. But at the same time, if he's needed to be just a quarterback, like, I don't know what...
The Saints also do seem to be having some internal turmoil. It's not good when your star wide receiver is not happy with the coach and kind of has ghosted him. And I mean, they say they patched things up, but we'll see.
So, yeah, developing story there, because I did not know that. The Steelers, for me, they are cold. The Steelers just kind of... just are like, we're the Steelers, come on. I don't know why they're talking like that, but they're like, come on, we're the Steelers, we're going to make the playoffs. And I don't think it's the case this year. There's too many good teams in the AFC. And then let's go ahead and finish it out here. The Seahawks hot, the Bills hot, the Packers hot, the Chiefs are cold. Just kidding, they're hot. They are hot in the streets. 19, for me at least, hot teams on the list. I think we differed on a few, but still, I mean, heck, it's a good year gearing up for football when you can say that at least 16 plus teams are, playoff caliber. When, I mean, I guess I know 14 make the playoffs, but when you're excited about, 16, there's going to be some good teams that are left out.
Oh yeah, and that's always a good thing. I mean, it'd be pretty bad if we were looking at this and saying, oh no, cold. Like, how great. The battle for the number one pick is going to be more exciting than the battle for a playoff spot. I think it is going to be good. I think some of these teams that we've listed as hot could come out and absolutely be complete duds. And some of them that we listed as cold could surprise us. And I think if there's going to be there's two teams that could truly come out and surprise us that we listed as cold, I'm going to say the 49ers and the Bears. And if there's two teams that could come out that we said are hot and could be complete duds, I'm going to say the Saints and the Packers.
So I would almost say, because I agree on the Saints. The Packers.
Actually, no, I'll say the Saints and the Rams. The Rams. Because I don't think the Packers will be complete duds as long as Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback.
Right.
They got a legitimate shot. The Rams, it's still a question mark because that run game's not that solid. We don't know what Matthew Stafford's really going to be like on a good team.
Right.
So there's question marks there. So those are my picks that could potentially be duds and the ones that could be surprises.
Yeah, I'll throw like the Giants in there too. Like I think the Giants.
This is a make or break year for the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants
make or break for Daniel Jones and Saquon.
Pretty much any team that we mentioned is hot. I know we hyped you guys up. I know I have some Cowboys and Giants fans in the chat, but I know we hyped you guys up. But you guys also have a very real possibility of all being duds as well, based on what we saw last year. I mean, because everybody. I mean, I don't think anybody expected the Giants to be great. Nobody really expected the Washington football team to be great. But the fact that it was just literally they had to like force someone to take the NFC East last year. So that could be something that goes into it too. But yeah, in the spirit of the exercise, just teams that we can like realistically see making the playoffs. I think there's some good ones on there. But yeah, definitely going to be interesting once we have to shoehorn these teams into the playoffs and make our predictions here in a couple weeks.
There we go.